Last week I cycled 500 kilometres across the UK to surprise my auntie for her birthday. I've bike packed for the last 4.5 years, and in this video I'm going to tell you as quick as possible everything that's ever gone right and everything that's ever gone wrong with every trip I've ever done, so you don't make the same mistakes in 2025. Let's get into it.
My name's Ben Chapman and I've rode bikes for as long as I can remember. I love nothing more than jumping on a train and going to explore. I just love the freedom of having a bike.
This is Rodney. This is Rodney's first ever bikepacking trip. This is my first ever bikepacking trip. Rodney has watched hours and hours of bikepacking trips over the years and he's ready. He's got all his kit laid out, but does he need it all? Do I need all this? Yes, Rodney, you do. You need it all. What have you got? Maybe we can get rid of a few things. Well, I've got a multi-tool, some sealant, I've got my bike computer. Rodney, I'm going to stop you there. You don't need to put your bike computer in your kit because that's going to be on your bike. When you're laying your kit out, make sure you've only got the stuff that's in your bags to start off with, because otherwise it looks like you've got a lot more than you really are going to have in your bags. Oh yeah, that's really good advice, because yeah, that'll be on the front of the bike, won't it? So I don't need to put that in this list of kit. I'll carry on. So yes, I've got my multi-tool, got a plug, you know, one of them things that you struggled with last week. Yeah, I saw that video. It was good, it was good. Rodney, I'm trying to help you here, less of the cheek. Sorry, just a bit of banter. So yeah, I've got inner tube. How many of them will I need? I've always found to take 3 is a good number, and I'll tell you why. On my first ever bikepacking trip, I rode from Newcastle to Switzerland and I took 6 inner tubes. Looking back, I would never take that many again. I didn't use any of them because I was set up tubeless. I always take 3 now, just in case. That trip I rode through Newcastle, Amsterdam, Belgium, France, and then into Switzerland. So I rode past plenty of places in which I could collect another inner tube if I needed one. So Rodney, what you need to think about is, what's your route? Where are you going? Do you think that you're going to have enough amenities to pick up an extra inner tube if you need it? Oh yeah, I'm going through loads of places that I can get an inner tube. So should I just take 3? Yep, take 3 if you've got the room. I'd get 3 out for now and see how it goes. So that would be my first bit of advice. Separate all your kit and lay it all out on the floor. And if you can, put it near the bag that you're going to put it in, just to see what the size of the bag is versus how much kit you've got. Once you've got all your stuff out on the floor, put it in plastic bags like this. You can get these from Sainsbury's, Tesco's, Asda, wherever you shop, and you'll be able to see all your kit. I use a bike rack system called Tailfin and have done for 5 years now. It's absolutely great because once you get to your destination, you can just take the bags off. But whilst you're on the road, if you do get a puncture or some sort of mechanical, you need to know where your tools are. Looking for tyre levers, looking for tubeless plugs. But if you've got a bag which is clear, you know exactly what's in it before wasting time opening it. Does that make sense, Rodney? Yep, I get it. Put all this stuff in plastic bags. I'll make like a kit list, so I'll have different sections for different bits. That's a good idea, Rodney. But remember this. Just remember, if you're running 3 panniers, 1 on the back and 1 either side, all your emergency stuff that you're going to need really quickly, make sure it's easily accessible. My largest bag, which looks a little bit like this and sits on the back, that always holds my clothes, because I know I'm not going to need to go in that bag until I reach my destination. You got all that, Rodney? Yep, got it. Put all my stuff that I might need in an emergency in a really easy place to reach. Great, we're getting there. Now, what clothes are you taking? Oh, I'm taking so much kit. I'm taking the green to go with the grey, and I'm taking the grey to go with the pink. Like, I'm that guy in my group that always turns up looking fresh, and that's what I want for this bikepacking trip as well. Whoa, Rodney, I'm gonna stop you there. Looking fresh on a group ride, I get it, but you're not gonna need all that. What you wear on a bike is a huge part of the cycling culture, but this is different. This is a bikepacking trip. Whatever you take, you've got to carry. Whatever you're carrying goes up hills. Whatever you're carrying goes down hills. And you've got to pack that up every single day you decide to stop and sleep. Like Rodney, I love to look great on a bike, and I've worn lots and lots of kits over the years. My first bikepacking trip, Newcastle to Switzerland, I think I took a different jersey for every day. And looking back, that is absolutely ridiculous. These are only my opinions, but I would no longer take bright kit if I was going on a really dirty bike ride. It is nice to be able to wash your kit in the sink when you're in the hotel or in the sea, and you can get it as clean as possible. And obviously dark colours wash a lot better than the pinks and whites. And whites can sometimes end up looking a little bit grey. Bike packing with Francis Cage, you would have seen his towel trick.
Helmet and glasses not necessary, but if they're sweaty, might be a good idea too.
Wring your kit out so it's a little bit drier, then place it on a towel. Roll it up really, really tight as you can possibly do it, then wring it, or stand on it like this. Leave for 5 minutes, then all you have to do is hang it on your bike, and it will be dry by the next morning.
It is a lot harder to get the chamois clean, but jerseys usually come up really, really nice. So Rodney, how many days are you going for? Well, I'm going for 5 nights. I've got 7 kits. How many do you think I'll need? I'll let you make the decision, but not too many. Newcastle to Bristol, I wore my Hocker jacket, which is just a running jacket really, with a hood, and it done me for both, on the bike and off the bike. Right, nutrition. I'm packing loads of powder and loads of gels, because I don't want to bonk. I'm going to be that guy off the front. The lads are going to love me. Well, taking a gel and a carb powder that you're used to is a really good idea, because you know how it's going to affect you and you know what your performance is going to be like, but you won't need too much. This is why. Carb powders and gels are great on a group ride, and I'm not saying don't take any. I've always taken some, but remember, this is a bike packing trip, it's not a race. If it does get windy, yes, you want to share the load and you want to be as strong as possible, but I've always found it's not that sort of trip. Steady away. Find the time to find nice restaurants, nice cafes and nice bars, and the whole experience will be a lot more enjoyable. Okay, I get it. So we're just taking emergency gels and a couple of carb powders for every day. Exactly. If you're going to be bike packing in places like France, Spain, Italy, there's always going to be somewhere to grab a really nice bite. Bike packing with Lawrence and Francis across Malaysia, we did know on days there'll be places where we wouldn't be able to get food. So what we did is prepare beforehand, whether that means making sandwiches, taking bags of crisps, or taking extra water. But look at your route. The evening before, decide whether you want to take a packed lunch. You're saying take less. Do I take spares with me? You don't need all the spares, but here's the spares that I've taken with me, but I've got lucky over the years. One spare essential that I always take and I've never needed is a hanger. A bike hanger which holds your derailleur to the rear of the bike depending on what bike you have. I have a spare derailleur hanger for every single bike, and luckily I've never ever needed it. There are millions and millions of hangers out there in the world, all different shapes and sizes, and if there's one thing you won't be able to get on a bike packing trip, it's a hanger. And if your hanger breaks, it can cause so many problems. So always take 1 or 2 hangers. Your bike's loaded, there is a chance it can fall over and then that hanger will break. So always take a spare hanger. Cool, okay, spare hanger. I've got one of those. Why do you keep walking over there? Because the lighting's better over here. Other than ways to fix a puncture, I always take a spare tubeless sealant. I always take a front and back light, and my back light is running pretty much all day. My front light I keep in a bag that's handy to get in case we go into the dark. Okay, awesome. So I probably don't need this spare seat post then. No, Rodney, you're not going to need a spare seat post. At best, some spare brake pads and a couple of hangers. Just remember, if you're bike packing with friends, then you can share the load, especially if you're all on similar bikes. Bike packing across India, we all use Lawrence's pump, the electric one. It was easy, it was efficient, and it done the job really quickly and got us back on the road as quick as possible. I never got my pump out once. Okay, I'll get in the group chat and I'll ask what everyone else is taking, because you're right, we don't need to double up. Is there anything else that you would take that I haven't thought about? Yeah, there is actually. And it's this one funny thing that I couldn't live without on a bike packing trip. I'll be back in a second. Bike packing or camping, you never really know what you're going to get in the way of sleep. I've used these for years. They're called Loop and they're earplugs. I will not go anywhere without a set of earplugs. When it comes to bike packing, sleep is essential. I remember one night we checked into a hotel and I got insomnia, and I laid there all night listening to the other lads snore and dream away. And unfortunately I got no sleep whatsoever, and I had to ride our biggest day of that trip. I managed to do it and it shows what the body's capable of, but I will not go anywhere without my earplugs. Would you stop running over to the kitchen? Is there anything else I'd take? Yep, earplugs. Put them in. You never know when you're going to get a noisy neighbour. Last year I partnered up with Life Jacket and they do these sort of adventure essentials. And one thing I never ever go on a bike packing trip without now is soap in a tin. They also do a chamois and they also do sun protection as well. Now this Factor 50 actually stops me getting any tan whatsoever. With a bald head, I always like to protect my noggin. Putting your soap in a bag is absolutely fine, but if you can put it in a tin and know it's not going to make any of your other stuff damp and wet, that is absolutely key. I never go anywhere without soap and chamois cream in a tin. 2 tins, nice and light, and you know what's in what. Oh great, another advert from one of you influencer types. Yeah, I'm sure you got all that stuff gifted anyway, and I bet it's really expensive. Whoa, you can chill out with all the influencer stuff. I'm just here to tell you what I use. And yes, over the years, I have been gifted a little bit from Life Jacket, but it works really well. It's always lasted all day and it doesn't go greasy. There's nothing worse than greasy hands on a bike. All right, I'll take your word for it. I'll get some of that Life Jacket stuff and we'll see how it goes. So come on, tell us, what's your route? Where are you off to? How far you're riding? What you're going to do on a daily basis? Oh, we're doing like 200k a day for 4 days. We're just going to smash it out. It's going to be absolutely awesome. I can't wait. Have you rode 200k before? Yeah, I've done 200k loads of times. Coast to coast to coast. I've done that 4 times. I've done 200k on the turbo. Easy. It's great that you're that fit, but remember, this isn't a race. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're going to have to stop for food. You never know what's around the next corner. You never know if you're going to have to fix a puncture, so you need a lot more time. Set yourself a daily achievable goal. Trying to ride 200 kilometers in one day and having to do that back to back. Yes, it's a great achievement, but you might not have that much fun doing it. We have always found 150 kilometers, leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning and going until dark is a really good number. If you want to have even more fun than that, then knock it down to 100 kilometers and take it even more steady. And if you're doing it on your own, it's even more relaxing knowing that you don't have to rush to the next hotel or campsite. So yes, remember, it's a great achievement to ride for 12 hours a day, but you don't want to get to the hotel at 9 o'clock at night and they say they've stopped serving food. You have to factor in all these small things. Wow, that's actually really good advice. I didn't think about that. So get to the hotel at 6, 7 o'clock and make sure we get an early night. Pop them earplugs in. Yep, that's correct. Have you booked your hotels? No, don't be stupid. We haven't booked our hotels. We don't know where we're going to be stopping. Like some days we might only want to ride 100k, like you said, and some days we might want to do 200k. So we're just going to book them before we get there, like maybe an hour before. Last week I turned up at a travel lodge thinking I could just queue up with everyone else and just book a room, and unfortunately they were fully booked. I ended up going around about 20 miles out of my way to find another hotel that had rooms for the night. It was very stressful. It added time onto my ride and then I had to panic to get food. If you're not going to book hotels because you don't know how far you're going to go, then maybe try and think about booking the hotel the night before, not an hour before you're going to arrive. Right, okay, I've got all my kit now. I've got a lock, I've got my puncture repair kit, but I still need to get my bike on the plane. What's the best way to do that? Well, the odds are you're going to have to dispose of that box at the end when you land once you've built your bike up. The best way I've found is to double box it. Get a large box, a mountain bike box, and then get a road box. Put the road box inside the mountain bike box, put a wheel either side, and then put your frame in the middle. Another great tip. Clean film. If you buy a couple of rolls of this for around about £2, you can cover a whole bike box, making it waterproof. If for any reason your bike gets left on a runway or left out somewhere and it's raining, your box doesn't get wet. This is super handy. Okay, cool. 2 bike boxes. Where am I going to get them from? Bike boxes you can get from your local shop and they'll be happy to give them to you because they have to recycle them anyway. So most of the time you're doing them a favour. All bike packing adventures have to come to an end and you're going to need a box to get your bike home. 2 or 3 days before you get to your final destination or accommodation, Google where the nearest bike shop is. Ask them to save your bike box from a recent build, and then you can collect that bike box on your final day. Whether you're a seasoned cyclist or a beginner, another top tip is to get some miles in the legs before you go. Maybe 4 to 6 weeks prior to the trip, jump on the turbo or get out with some friends and just get those legs ready for what's about to come. Oh, I've done loads of training, I'll be absolutely fine. I hope. Near impossible to get absolutely everything I've learned over the last 5 years of bikepacking: India, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, England. If you have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. Bikepacking is one of the best ways you can explore a country or place, and it will forever be one of my most favourite things about cycling. Oh, I'm so pumped for this now, thanks. Well, enjoy it, and don't forget, it gets addictive, so this won't be your last. We'll all keep an eye on Rodney's journey, and you let me know where you're off to this year. 2025 has just begun, so you can go absolutely anywhere you want. I know I'm going as many places as possible this year, and I'm going to take you guys with me. As always, I'm going to leave this video here. Please remember to comment, like, and subscribe, and we'll see everyone on the next one. That's what you say, don't you? Well, I've seen it. It's good. It's good. It's good. Nice little ending, that.